How more lovely can you get in this? So you've got the lambs here grazing down here, and then if I just pan round, I've just been up. So these are some older sheep here, and you've got your farm up there where the dairy herd is, where the cows are, and we went to see the cows up above there. It's a classic proper family run business, and hats off to you for trying what you're doing. You know, any family farm, it's difficult to make a living, and you've tried to do something, and I'm really pleased that I just found you because we were staying down the road from you. Your website, remind everyone what your website is, by the way.
It's www.tuckenhayfarm.co.uk.
Okay, so this is a funky farmer holiday video. So you know, whenever I go away on holiday, I always try and catch up with a local business or something interesting in the area. Well, today, let me tell you where I am first. I'm in Devon, where we quite often head to. I'm staying at a place called Tuckenhay Mill. It's a gorgeous old paper mill that's been converted into holiday apartments, and we're here for a week. It's absolutely lovely. Do you know what? I feel the stress of the farming and be able to, you know, coming off me, I'll be able to relax in the pool. It's just been wonderful. Might give you a little tour around the place later just to show you where we're staying, because we are very lucky to stay here. But anyway, I've discovered that there's a farm up the road called Tuckenhay Farm. Tuckenhay, we're near Topness if you want to look that up. I'll probably put a little map in. Tuckenhay Farm meat boxes. So I'm going up there to buy some meat for the barbecue. I'm going to speak to the person who does the meat boxes, and we're going to just chat a little bit how they run their farm perhaps, and how they manage to do meat boxes selling to the local public and also to the wider community out there. You can go online and look up their website, and you can order meat from their farm in Devon. So let's go and have a look. I'm going to meet Hannah and leave the lovely cottage behind, and let's go and see a proper Devon farm. Up the steps. But hey, I am actually on a Devon farm now, and we have Hannah and her brother Ollie here. So I'm right in saying, Ollie, you're in charge of dairy, aren't you?
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Hannah's in charge of meat boxes and sheep.
Yeah.
And you're also an engineer, aren't you?
Yeah.
So really interesting. I'm going to speak to Hannah in a bit, but me and Ollie are going to jump on this quad here, look, and we're going to go off and see the dairy herd and have a little chat about that, and then we'll be back, talk to Hannah about her meat boxes. All right, crack on. Oh, I tell you what, my son Harry would love this. Awesome. Do I get on first, or do you get on first?
Yeah, jump on if you want.
All right, mate. I don't think I've ever been on the back of a quad. This is a big one, isn't it?
It's 400.
Yeah. All right.
That's more than 10. There you go.
Look at this. Body. They look amazing. They look really good. Wow, did you see that ride up there on the quad bike? That was amazing, and I'm so sport where I am in the fact that everything's flat. And come up here, the hill we climbed up was pretty steep, but I'm just going to pan around. We're going to see the cows in a minute. Look at the view down there. Look at that estuary. It's blowing a gale up here, by the way. So, and here's the cows here. They're looking very happy. You've got plenty of grass here, Ollie. So, tell me, so you young man, how old are you, Ollie?
28.
28. You took over this quite recently, didn't you, from your father?
Yeah, been pretty early days, really. Yeah.
So this is this farm's been in your family for quite a while, is it?
Yeah. Well, Dad's been here all his life,
Right.
and then a few years before that as well. So the
Right.
granddad had it. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a herd of what did you say, British Frisian cross?
Yeah. Bit of combination. Got some British Frisian, some pure Holstein, everything
Wow.
between, really, and yeah.
They're looking absolutely amazing there. They're in really good condition. I can see, you know, farmer's eyes on them. They look really good, and you've got plenty of grass, haven't you? You're not short of feed up here this year.
It's come on well now recently.
So where do you sell your milk to?
Sainsbury's Miller.
Right. Okay. So you got quite a good contract with them then.
Yeah.
And where's the nearest creamery round here? Is that very far from you? I don't know where you take it to.
Actually.
Yeah. Well, Sainsbury's probably do.
Well, yeah. It's
Be a Muller
Yeah.
creamery somewhere, won't it? But it's interesting. I was just saying on camera then. I'm not used to the steepness of the Devon Hills. How do you cope with that for doing things like silage? Is there only certain fields you can do?
Yeah, just certain fields. This field we do. And,
yeah, because it's quite level up here,
yeah,
isn't it? But the one we drove up, you wouldn't want to mow that really, would you?
No, you can't do that. So, yeah,
I mean, it's a very different landscape than I'm used to.
Yeah.
And I know, is that your maize over there?
Yeah, and this field next to us.
Oh, right.
Side here, actually. Yeah.
It's looking really good, isn't it?
It's done well this year.
I tell you what though, it must be lovely working in here to have a view like that to look across.
Yeah.
You know? And I guess maybe if you've lived here all your life, you're not kind of seeing it in the same eyes as me when I come here and see that, because you're used to it, but that's amazing.
Yeah.
So we were talking about with your sister earlier off camera, but I was, so I believe that she does the meat boxes, you run the dairy side of it. So do you supply her with the beef animals?
Yes, the calves from these go to basically get rid over the other farm, and then.
And she supplies meat boxes to local area.
Yeah.
So it's quite a lovely family business then, really.
Yeah, it works well. Yeah.
Yeah. So I like the synergy of the meat boxes working with the beef cattle that you rear, and you know, and the dairy cattle here. They honestly, they look in a credit to you. They are really lovely. And you're a young man to be taking this on, aren't you? Did you always want to be a dairy farmer, or did you grew up here, but did you have any ambition for anything else?
Well, I went engineering at university,
right.
And it's been sort of since that really. Then
and then you at a certain point you thought I'll come back and
I wasn't really that into it, and then into the engineering, so come back here and start doing this. So
brilliant. I mean, I bet your dad's pleased, didn't he, to have his son back here?
Yeah, I think so.
It's a lovely relationship, father and son on a farm. Can be difficult at times, but you learn to appreciate each other as you grow older. I worked with my dad all my life, and I'm so grateful I had that opportunity, really. So it's nice to see a young man like yourself interested in carrying on a farm, really, because a lot of farmers' sons aren't necessarily interested, you know?
Yeah, that's what these days, yeah.
Brilliant. Anyway, thank you, Ollie. We'll go back and see your sister. I'm loving the quad. My son Harry would die to go on that. That's wonderful. Thank you very much. Well, that was lovely to see the cows there, looking great. I hope it wasn't too windy up there. I couldn't really tell whether you could get the recording on the mic okay. I'm going to have a chat with Hannah now about the meat boxes. Right, Hannah, I've cornered you now.
Yeah.
Your lovely brother's given me cheers, mate. Your lovely brother's given me a tour of the cows. I'm going to ask you about the meat boxes you do. So you basically have set up Tuckenhay farm meat boxes.
Wearing the branding.
And you're selling meat from your farm here.
Yeah.
From the, am I thinking right, the Aberdeen Angus's you rear from the calves from the dairy herd?
Yeah.
And what else? Tell me.
Basically I was working in London doing structural engineering, which I still do 3 days a week, working from home. And then during COVID I came back onto the farm and got into sheep farming. So I started off with 50 sheep and then had about 100 lambs off of those. And then last year I had, it went up to 200, and so I've got their lambs, most of them still running around now. And I've got some more shearlings as well, so which are young sheep to breed from. So I've got about 325 ewes.
So you
adventures in
obviously
doing that.
passionate about sheep. Well, you always liked sheep. Did you have little lambs when you were little or anything?
No, we never had sheep here ever.
No way, really?
No.
So when did they come? When you started on the sheep?
Yeah.
Really?
So that's a very new venture
Bonkers.
for the farm.
So there's quite a new experience for you then.
Yeah.
Have you found it an easy thing to get into, or have you had some help?
Well, I worked up at my neighbour's farm
Yeah.
the first season lambing. So when we had our 50 ewes, which we bought basically at 50 really old sheep and bred from them. And so I lambed them alongside whilst I was working for my neighbour, and because they're old sheep, they lamb quite easily. So that was quite a good learning experience. He had loads of young sheep. He had about 700. So I learnt a lot during that year. That went really well, and then from that I got the confidence to then go up to 200, which were mainly shearlings. So I was doing that all my own this year, which I really enjoyed, and I found that almost easier because they were all in one place, and I could just pop back and get a cup of tea whenever I needed to or wanted to, and
that's
things
important,
like that.
a cup of tea.
And then now I've bought some more shearlings as well. So it'll be interesting to see how this year goes.
So I'm interested how you jumped from, because presumably when you first started you weren't doing meat boxes, you were just selling to market, were you? Or?
Yeah, so I started the sheep around the same time as I started up. I started the sheep just before the meat boxes, I suppose, but the first lambs were ready around when I started the meat boxes. So I sell most of the lambs through market. So I can take them up to Exeter, which is just under, it's probably like a 45-minute drive from here. So I sell most of them through there at the moment, and then the rest I do through the meat boxes.
So how did you start with the meat boxes then? I mean, it's quite a thing to start and set up because you need refrigeration and stuff like that.
Yeah.
How did you start on all that?
So basically I was like thinking of ways. That's all right.
We're around here and then you won't get the sun in your eyes.
I was thinking of ways to diversify, because we went along to a few like the sort of future farming transition things, and obviously there's like me and my brother are both interested in farming, and it's just talking about how all of the sort of funding from the EU is going, so like the regular payments, and how you can basically make the farming pay, because it's quite difficult to make money from just farming. So one idea I thought of was just direct selling and giving that a go. I guess in my mind I thought like maybe one day it'd be really like cool to have a farm shop, but whether or not I could ever get that far, I don't know. I just thought doing meat boxes and selling directly to begin with was sort of a good learning curve for that, and just setting up my own business and sorting out taxes and doing all of that stuff myself. It was a big learning curve. So I've started off with the meat boxes, and then a grant came out just when I was sort of thinking of this, from Devon County Council, which wasn't for farmers specifically, it was for new startup businesses. And so I applied for that, and I managed to get that. I think I was one of the only ones in our sort of area that got it, so I was really fortunate for that.
Brilliant.
And that paid for a fridge, to go on a butchery course just for a week, so just to learn the basics, because actually butchery is really, really difficult.
Do you butcher them yourself?
I don't butcher them myself, it's just to learn the cuts. And things
so you know
like
what you're
that.
talking about, basically.
Yeah, like I'd love to try and butcher probably a lamb myself at some point, because that was a bit more straightforward, whereas looking at a bullock, that it's just so complicated.
Yeah, that's big, isn't it?
That. Yeah, so much meat. And if I ever went into pigs, I'd maybe consider that, because if it goes wrong, you can turn most of it into sausages.
So what do you do? You send them to an abattoir and get them butchered. Someone else butchers them, and then you repackage it, as it were, and then sell it on under the Tuckenhay brand.
Yeah, so we'll take it to Ashburton, which is about 20 minutes from here, and there's an abattoir there. So they slaughter the animals and also do the butchering there, and package it. So it's quite straightforward for me without having to jump through loads of hoops and things. So I know that that's all covered, and then I just go and pick it up packaged, and then store it here. And at the moment I sell frozen, just because I've only just started, so I'm just building up the customer base to be able to shift enough when it's fresh, because obviously from one bullock you get a lot of meat. Although I do always announce when it is fresh, so that if people want it fresh, they can. And then, people can just buy whatever cuts they want, and I'll do them.
So should we go and have a look at, you're going to show me your sheep, because the beef cattle are a bit further away. And then maybe we'll have a look at your boxes, what you do, and I'll talk about that. Is that all right?
Yeah,
Cheers,
great.
brilliant.
All right.
We're at the pub. I think I'm heading there tonight. So we're actually coming to see your lambs. They're opposite the pub, so I might have another look tonight.
I've been thinking of putting a picnic table in here, so that when it's busy we have our own little private table.
And you can get a pint while you're checking the sheep. So here we are in the sheep field. We'll try and get a bit closer in a minute, but they might run away, mightn't they?
Yeah.
So what breed are these?
So these are Suffolk crosses. So
Right.
I use North Country mules as the ewes, and
Yeah.
then Suffolk rams. So yeah.
Okay, so what are these are the lambs, are they?
Yeah, so these are some of the lambs. So these are the ones that are sort of close. Well, I've already sold some of the lambs to market.
Yeah.
And these will be the next ones that'll be ready to go. And then the other lambs are in a different patch. I find with the sheep farming, it's just sort of taking whatever fields I can around the place. They're all a bit spread
Should we go
out.
and get a bit closer? See, they might run away, I don't know. So what sort of age are these?
So these were born in sort of like mid-March.
Yeah.
So what would that make them, like 4 or 5 months now?
Okay.
Yeah, I only grass feed them though, so a
Yeah.
lot of
Oh, wow.
farmers will feed them
Oh, they're legging it.
concentrates and things. So they'll be like, bigger quicker, which is something that maybe does. It's difficult to weigh that one up because the lamb price earlier on in the year is really high. So at the moment it's like dropped right down.
Right.
And obviously a lot of my lambs are sort of, I've sent maybe like 30 or 40 off already. And they made a really like good amount of money, but then now it's dropping a lot and most of my lambs are still yet to go.
Okay.
Then the cost of concentrates is really high.
It is, yeah.
And through the meat boxes I like to sell everything as totally grass fed.
Yeah, that's nice.
Because people like that, and also the slower growing means that it has a bit more flavour to it and things. So
Right.
yeah. That's
So
the system I'm
would
doing.
you, with these, I'm just looking at them now, they're all running away. Look at them all. Oh, they're looking really good condition. Look at them all go. They're all there together, aren't they? Lovely black faces.
Yeah.
So do you select ones for your meat boxes, or is it just a case of you're going to get rid of a whole group of them in just any one, or how does it work with?
Yeah, so it sort of depends on like what stock I've got in. So I keep everything in the freezer, and when I'm starting to run low on things, I'll then pick out an animal when I'm next picking out things for market. So that's kind of how I do it.
So your website, remind everyone what your website is, by the way.
It's www.tuckenhayfarm.co.uk.
And what sort of cuts do most people want?
Steaks are very, very
Oh
popular.
yeah, of course. I want to steak something.
Yeah. So steaks, they go really quickly, and then mince is much more difficult to sell.
Is it?
But just because you get so much from
Right.
a bullock.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll probably get like half of not half the bullock, but a lot of the bullock ends up being mince.
Right.
So it's probably like 50 kilos of mince from
That's
each
a lot,
cow.
isn't it?
Yeah, which is quite difficult to.
So what you're saying is, if people are ordering from you, please order some mince. Did you hear that? Like, if you're going to order some mince, some stuffed meat from this lovely lady, please order some mince as well, so that she isn't stuck with all mince. Okay. So you got lamb and you got beef. That's quite a lot to deal with, isn't it? I mean, take it the beef comes in at different times, is it, or you're selling both at the same time? How does it work?
So I sell both at the same time. So I obviously, like, one bullock produces a lot of meat, so I don't have as many bullocks going through as I do lambs. But I find with the lamb as well, sort of going back to the sort of popular cuts, it's a lot easier to sell lamb in some ways because it's a much smaller animal.
Yeah, sure.
So you don't have to have like loads of stock, or you don't have somewhere to like keep everything. And also, I find most cuts of the lamb are kind of equally as popular as other cuts.
Right.
So that one works quite well. So.
And so you're selling to a bit of tourists, a bit of locals, and your name's gradually sort of, because how long have you been doing this now?
So it's just under a year that I set this up.
So out of interest, what do you think the hardest bit for you has been setting up this sort of meat box business?
I think it's just getting your name out there, really.
Right.
So I find that once people have started buying from me, they do tend to like reorder. So that's not really a problem. And I think the meat does taste really good because obviously it is grass fed. And a lot of people like that they know who it's come from, and that it's local. So that's all good. But it's just getting your name out there. So a few weeks ago, I went to a local agricultural show in Tuckenhay, and I got a lot more custom through that. So that's really nice. But it's just sort of going and finding the time to do these things.
It's people knowing you're here, isn't it? I mean, but how more lovely can you get than this? So you've got the lambs here grazing down here. And then if I just pan round, I've just been up. So these are some older sheep here, and you've got your farm up there, where the dairy herd is, where the cows are, and we went to see the cows up above there. It's a classic proper family-run business, and hats off to you for trying what you're doing. Any family farm, it's difficult to make a living, and you've tried to do something. And I'm really pleased that I just found you because we were staying down the road from you.
No. It's
well
good.
done. So can we go and have a look at a meat box or
Yeah, of
whatever?
course, yeah.
Brilliant, thank you. We've come up to where your refrigerators are, and we're going to have a quick look, aren't we?
Yeah.
You're going to show me what you do here.
Yeah.
Right, so we are in your, what do you call this, a chill room, are we?
So basically it's just a workshop, so I keep my freezer and
Yeah.
where I store the meat.
So can we have a quick look at what you're selling?
Yeah.
What-
So at the moment,
So these are what? Sorry, these are the ones that you helped grant funded with the Devon Council.
This one was grant funded by Devon County Council as
Right.
part of their Devon Elevation Fund.
Nice.
And the freezer I bought myself. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's a really nice fridge. And so basically, whenever I get, particularly when I get the meat back from a bullock, I'll put that in the fridge whilst I'm sorting it all out and doing like fresh deliveries. And then the rest of it that I don't sell fresh, I freeze. So I always keep, try and keep the freezer full, so I've got plenty of stock of beef and lamb all the time.
Wow.
So I got a new delivery of beef in last week, so
Really?
that's all in the freezer now, so I don't have any fresh here today.
Yeah.
but yeah, it's a really nice fridge, but there's not anything in that.
That's empty at the moment for the
And this one is absolutely
is it?
rammed full.
Can we have a look in there?
Yeah.
Oh wow!
so-
Look at all this.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm going to get off you in a bit. Some rump
Yeah.
steak. So
Yeah.
these are all sort of divided up into.
Yeah, so I divide it because I've got a lot in stock at the moment. It's divided into bags rather than boxes, just because
Okay.
at certain times I'll find that I've got more of one product than another, and if it was in boxes, there'd be a lot of empty space wasted. So
Okay.
really, I probably should get another freezer as well for times like this. But this is like the fullest it.
But then,
ever
I mean,
is.
considering you haven't been doing it very long,
Yeah.
you've kind of got a really nice setup here, isn't
Yeah,
it? And
yeah,
you started with a really good base. I mean, I just can't help but notice over your shoulder here. What's this?
Yeah, so
You didn't tell me anything about this. What's this?
I entered a box to the Taste of the West Awards this year.
Yeah.
So as a new member, you get to make an entry for free, which is really good. And I submitted my Tuckenhay Farm Essentials box, which
Right.
has a beef joint in it, lamb chops, beef mince, and diced beef.
Yeah.
And they tasted it all, and then all of those things within that box get the rating of the lowest graded meat. But yeah, they all got gold. So
You got gold.
So,
That's
yeah,
that's
yeah,
a hell of.
on
Aren't
everything
you
I
really?
entered,
You must
so-
be really proud of
Yeah,
yourself.
yeah, no, I
what an
am.
achievement that is to get that. You know, you should definitely make sure everyone realises that. That's incredible.
Yeah, yeah. So, that's
So
really good.
I just noticed there's your mum up there. Look, I met
Yeah.
your mum earlier. That's a lovely family picture, isn't it?
Yeah.
And your dad, I haven't seen your dad. He's been hiding. But I'm gonna buy some meat off you in a minute. But I'm just gonna ask you a little bit about your packaging and stuff, because
Yeah,
I
okay.
noticed on your website there's something really interesting and quite novel about your packaging. Please tell me.
Yeah, so we use actually a wool-based packaging for installation. So anyone that orders a box that's not going to be in when we arrive, we pack it into one of these cardboard boxes, which we set up, and then you put the wool installation
So
in.
that's in 100% wool inside there.
I think so, yeah. And then the outer packaging as well is recyclable as
Is
well.
it?
So yeah.
So you decided to buy this as an alternative to something like polystyrene and stuff.
Yeah.
Is that because you're passionate about your sheep and you're helping the wool industry, aren't
yeah. Well, yeah, I really want this to be a sustainable business, so it's really nice to be able to use things in that way. And I think also the type of customers I'm going for are people that care about where everything comes from that they're buying, so where their meat comes from, and yeah, all down to packaging and everything. So it's just to support the local economy and to be as environmentally friendly as possible.
Hannah, do you know what? You've been an absolute star. I'm so glad I came to meet you. I'm just going to sign off here. So I'm going to buy some meat off Hannah. We're going to have it as a barbecue at the Tuckenhay Mill where we're staying. I think you'll agree if you've watched this video what a brilliant, lovely family it's been to visit. Right, anyway, crack on everyone. You know the website. Hannah, remind everyone the website if they want to buy something off you.
Tuckenhayfarm.co.uk.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you, Hannah.
Great, thank you.
Right, I did finish this video, but Hannah's dad's here and he's a dairy farmer. I'm going to have a little chat with you. Hannah's dad, I didn't get your name.
Rob.
Rob, I'm going to say to you, you must be very proud of your children, aren't you? They've
Really
taken on the business and they're going forward with new ideas, aren't they?
They are, yes.
You know?
Without a doubt, yes, yep.
How long have you been farming for then?
My life basically, since
Have you?
Yeah, I've been back on the farm since I was 15, and
Have you? So you worked with your father, did you?
yeah, I did for several years, yes.
Did you? Brilliant. So are you stepping back now, a bit of retirement, or are you still full on hands-on milking?
I'm not doing the milking like I was,
Yeah.
sort of stepping back from that and sort of going more for the beef and the arable and Yeah, so fitting in between really. So
I hope you can get a day off every now and then, get down the pub, do a bit of Irish jigging.
oh yes, yeah, like last night.
Sorry, we were just talking off camera. He's sneaked down the pub I'm going to tonight. Anyway, thank you so much for all your hospitality from your family. It's been wonderful, brilliant. I've got to get back and cook these burgers now.
Yeah,
Cheers then.
quality.
There we go. Well, I'm back from that lovely family at the Tuckenhay meat boxes. One thing I'd say about that is that they were a quintessentially English farming family. Mum and dad, daughter and son. Absolutely fantastic to see them, you know, trying to diversify, do different things with their farm, but still a lovely traditional English farm. And there's so many families like that around the countryside that don't get the credit for what they do and how they look after the land and everything like that. So, you know, I hope you enjoyed that video, or this video is a little insight to a proper farming family. And I didn't find that, I found them by accident. It wasn't contrived, so I didn't know what they were going to be like when I got there, but fantastic. Anyway, I just thought I'd show you around this lovely place I'm staying. Tennis courts there. I'm not going on the tennis court. Let's go and have a look in here, and got a lovely outdoor swimming pool. Look at that. Fantastic. Although you're not going to find me in the outdoor swimming pool, I'm afraid, because my kids are the swimmers. I do the indoor swimming pool, and there is a fantastic swimming pool here. This is it's like an old converted paper mill. Lots of little 22 cottages, I think, and all the buildings have been very sensitively restored. And there's a clock tower here. Can you see that? Up there's a lovely old clock tower. And we'll have a look. There's a swimming pool there. There's another one around the back. Oh, there's a little, everywhere I look, there's little quirky things that. Let's go up here. I hope these take my weight. Whew. So, I just thought I'd show you this, because if you're ever looking for an absolutely cracking place to come for a holiday, then Tuckenhay ticks a lot of boxes. You're not going to find yourself surrounded by amusement arcades and things like that, but if you're looking for something that is a relaxing break in the countryside, this is a real find. And I just think the swimming pool in there, can't really see that very well. There's another swimming pool, snooker room leading to the indoor pool, so we're not going to go in there. Just going to go up. This is it's like a little rabbit warren. This is a lovely building. Look at this. So this is a snooker room. Look at the ceiling, amazing. It's the clock tower. Pool table and stuff. Kids were playing badminton earlier. We're just going to have a look. There's a fully equipped gym down here. And look at this. Jack's been in here on the gym. So, it's nearly tea time. So this is where we're staying for a week. Let's have a look out the window. It's the swimming pool, it's the outdoor one. And then there's pan across, these are all little apartments. And there is another swimming pool further on, lovely heated one, which is basically for anyone who wants to kind of go in there. You book a slot, so you got it to yourself. I'm not going to film that, but do you know what? This has been, so far, we've only been here a couple of days. It's an absolutely fantastic break, because I felt, do you know, I just needed a holiday. I didn't realise how much I needed it till I got here, and then you take the weight off your shoulders and you just go. So a nice bit of downtime. The boys are loving it because they've got loads of things to do, and it's a fantastic, lovely place to walk around. So anyway, that was just a little, I just thought I'd show you, chuck that in there. Anyway, we're going to cook the steaks and burgers now. That's our tea tonight, and then we'll finish up with a bite to eat. Okay, so slight change of plan with our barbecue. I didn't do it on the day I bought the burgers. But we're doing it another day. We're doing burgers here. Me and Harry are cooking some Tuckenhay burgers on the barbecue. I didn't have any barbecue charcoal. I got disposable barbecue, but what a setting! Look at this. Look at that. And I just put a disposable barbecue on the barbecue area. Look at this, another lovely area by the house. And there's a croquet lawn down there. This is living the dream really on this holiday, and we've got some locally sourced burgers to have from cattle from just down the road. And in the meantime, me and Harry are having a game of top trumps while we wait for the barbecue to warm up.
But they're just some
Thanks.
cards.
These are really old.
They're yours, Frank said.